Well, it's been a enjoyable feast thus far. We had a couple of issues to get over, and praise Yahweh, we did, and we can go forth from here. Um, so I'm very thankful, for that. Um, yes. Is that better? Okay. Uh, what I've done here is simply picked a verse that I feel puts it all in a nutshell. And what is Yahweh asking of us? So we'll start out with Deuteronomy 10:12. And now, Israel, what is Yahweh your Elohim asking of you but to fear Yahweh your Elohim, to walk in all his ways, to love him, and to serve Yahweh your Elohim with all your heart and with all your being? I mean, how simple is that? And there's a difference between simple and difficult, or obviously you know that, or easy. It's a very simple way to walk, but it's not easy, is it? Simple, but yet not easy. So what I did was I picked up on each one of those verbs or words, and as you can see, I got a lot of verses to cover, so we'll get through this as quick as we can. First, we'll go with fear. So Webster defines fear as profound reverence and awe, especially towards Yahweh. Okay, of course it says G-O-D, but Yahweh. Strong's has it as Hebrew Yahweh, morally to revere. And what does it mean to revere? To show devoted honor to or regard as worthy of great honor. So, what does it mean to fear Yahweh? Deuteronomy 4:10. The day when you stood before me, the day before you stood before Yahweh your Elohim in Horeb, and he's talking to Moshe, Yahweh said to me, assemble the people to me, and I make them hear my words, so that they learn to fear me all the days they live on the earth, and then teach them to their children. Teach them his words. Deuteronomy 5:29. Oh, that they had such a heart in them to fear me, he said, and to guard all my commands always, that it might be well with them and with their children forever. And if you'll notice as we read through these verses, you'll see the difference between obedience and disobedience. Curses versus blessings, or blessings versus curses. Deuteronomy 5, go and say to them, return to your tents. But you stand here with me, and let me speak to you all the commands and the laws and the right rulings which you are to teach them. And they shall do them in the land which I am giving you to possess. And you shall guard to do as Yahweh your Elohim has commanded you. Do not turn aside to the right or to the left. Walk in all the way which Yahweh your Elohim has commanded you, so that you live and it be well with you, and you shall prolong your days in the land which you possess. Deuteronomy 6:1. And this is the command, the laws, and the right rulings which Yahweh your Elohim has commanded to teach you to do in the land which you are passing over to possess, so that you fear Yahweh your Elohim, to guard all his laws and his commands which command you, you and your son and your grandson all the days of your life, and that your days be prolonged. Deuteronomy 6:13. Fear Yahweh your Elohim and serve him, and swear by his name. Deuteronomy 13:4. Walk after Yahweh your Elohim and fear him, and guard his commands, and obey his voice, and serve him, and cling to him. Deuteronomy 17:9. And it shall be with him, and he shall read it all the days of his life, so that he learns to fear Yahweh his Elohim, and guard all his words of his Torah and these laws, and do them. Joshua 24:14. Yehoshua. And now fear Yahweh, serve him in perfection and in truth, and put away the mighty ones which your fathers served beyond the river and in Mitzrayim, and serve Yahweh. 1 Samuel 12:24. Only fear Yahweh, and you shall serve him with truth with all your heart. For consider what marvels he has done for you. And what has he done for you? In James 1:17 it says, every tov gift and every perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, with whom there is no change and no shadow of turning. So, think about it. What has Yahweh really done for you? Psalm 2:11. Serve Yahweh with fear and rejoice with trembling. Psalm 25:14. The secret of Yahweh is with those who fear him, and he makes his covenant known to them. So what is the secret? I don't know so much that it's a secret, but more that Yahweh will relate to you intimately if you fear him. Yada. And he opens his eyes so that you know his covenant. So you got to build that relationship with Yahweh. Psalm 34:7. The messenger of Yahweh encamps all around those who fear him and rescues them. Isn't that cool? Fear Yahweh and he'll send his messengers and they'll camp around you. Fear Yahweh, you, his set apart ones, for there is no lack to them who fear him. Yahweh provides, doesn't he? Psalm 86:11. Teach me your way, O Yahweh. Let me walk in your truth. Unite my heart to fear your name. Psalm 111:10. The fear of Yahweh is the beginning of wisdom. And those doing them have 12 understanding. His praise is standing forever. So, do you have wisdom or do you lack wisdom? Do you fear Yahweh or do you not fear Yahweh? Psalm 115:11. You who fear Yahweh, trust in Yahweh. He is their help and their shield. Psalm 128:1. Blessed are all who fear Yahweh, who walk in his ways. Psalm 147:11. Yahweh takes pleasure in those who fear him, in those who wait for his kindness. He takes pleasure in that. Proverbs 1:7. The fear of Yahweh is the beginning of knowledge, and fools despise wisdom and discipline. Don't be a fool. Proverbs 3:7. Do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear Yahweh and turn away from evil. Proverbs 9:10. The fear of Yahweh is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the set apart ones is understanding. Proverbs 19:23. The fear of Yahweh leads to life, and he remains satisfied. He is not visited by evil. Ecclesiastes 3:14. I know that whatever Elohim does is forever. There is no adding to it, and there is no taking away from it. Elohim does it, that men should fear before him. And Yahweh says in Malachi 3:6, for I am Yahweh, I change not. Old sons of Jacob shall not come, and the sons of Jacob shall not come to an end. And in Koheleth 12:13, what does he say? Let us hear the conclusion of the entire matter. Fear Elohim, guard his commands, for this applies to all mankind. So I think it's very important to fear Yahweh. And by the way, anybody have any questions, you want to add something to it, please, welcome, raise your hand, stand up, whatever you want to do. Sally? Oh, you were just scratching your head. All right, so we fear Yahweh, and now we learn to walk. And Webster's definition of walking is to pursue a course of action or a way of life. Halak. And there's a lot of, definitions there for halak. And I'm sorry, I meant to highlight this, but I think one of those in here says, let me see if I can, behave. So when we walk in Yahweh's ways, we're behaving. So let's go to Leviticus 18:4. Do my right rulings and guard my laws to walk in them. I am Yahweh your Elohim. Leviticus 26:3. If you walk in my laws, guard my commands, and shall do them, then I shall give you rain in its season, and the land shall yield its crops, and the trees of the field yield their fruit. Back home we have fruit trees, and we plant a garden, so on and so forth, and when it doesn't do well, we have lack of rain, I always think about this verse. And I have to ask myself, what are we doing wrong? Where's the rain? Where's the fruit? So, Leviticus 26:21. And if you walk contrary to me and refuse to obey me, I shall bring on you 7 more plagues according to your sins. So don't walk contrary to Yahweh. Deuteronomy 5:33. Walk in all the way which Yahweh your Elohim has commanded you, so that you live and it might be well with you. And you shall prolong your days in the land which you possess. And isn't that very similar to Exodus 20:12? Respect your father and your mother so that your days are prolonged upon the soil Yahweh your Elohim has given you. I think that's one of the top 10. Deuteronomy 13:4. Walk after Yahweh your Elohim and fear him, and guard his commands and obey his voice, and serve him and cling to him. Joshua 22:5. Only diligently guard to do the command and the Torah which Moshe the servant of Yahweh commanded you, to love Yahweh your Elohim and to walk in all his ways and to guard his commands and cling to him and to serve him with all your heart and with all your being. Shema Israel. 1 Kings 2:3. And guard the charge of Yahweh your Elohim to walk in his ways and to guard his laws, his commands, his right rulings, and his witnesses, as it is written in the Torah of Moshe, so that you do wisely all that you do and wherever you turn. 1 Kings 8 verse 61. Let your heart therefore be perfect to Yahweh your Elohim, to walk in his laws and guard his commands, as at this day, or as it is this day. Psalm 1:1. Blessed is the man who shall not walk in the counsel of the wrong, and shall not stand in the path of sinners, and shall not sit in the seat of scoffers. Psalm 84:11. For Yahweh Elohim is a sun and a shield. Yahweh gives favor and esteem. He withholds no tov matter from those who walk blamelessly. You want Yahweh to bless you? Walk blamelessly. Psalm 119:1. Blessed are the perfect in the way who walk in the Torah of Yahweh. 119:3. Yea, they shall do no unrighteousness. They shall walk in his ways. Psalm 128:1. Blessed are all who fear Yahweh, who walk in his ways. Jeremiah 6:16. Thus said Yahweh, stand in the ways and see, and ask for the old paths where the Tov way is, and walk in it, and find rest for yourselves. And I always think about these Christians that say, well, that's back then. That's in the old book, New Testament. But here it tells it's the old ways. I lost my place. Okay, Jeremiah 7:23. But this word I command them, saying, obey my voice, and I shall be your Elohim, and you be my people, and walk in all the ways that I have commanded you, so that it be well with you. Ezekiel 20:19. I am Yahweh your Elohim, walk in my laws, and guard my right rulings, and do them. Micah 6:8. He has declared to you, O man, what is Tov, and what does Yahweh require of you but to do right and to love kindness and to walk humbly with your Elohim? Walk humbly. Job 8:12. Therefore Yahweh spoke to them again, saying, I am the light of the world. He who follows me shall that's John 8:12. By no means walk in darkness, but possess the light of life. Romans 8:1. There is then no condemnation to those who are in Messiah Yeshua, who do not walk according to the flesh, but according to the Spirit. Romans 13:13. Let us walk becomely as in the day, not in wild parties and drunkenness, not in living together and indecencies, not in fighting and envy. Did I just mess up? Anyways, who can pull that verse up for me right quick? Romans 13:13. I don't have my book up here, I'm sorry. I think I messed up that. Let me check right quick. Is it okay? Okay. Yeah, let us walk becomingly as in the day, not in wild parties and drunkenness, not in living together and decencies, not in fighting and envy, but put on the Master Yeshua Messiah and make no provisions for the lust of the flesh. Thank you. Okay. Ephesians 5:2, and walk in love, as Messiah also has loved us, and gave himself for us a gift and an offering to Elohim for a sweet-smelling fragrance. Ephesians 5:15. See then that you walk exactly, not as unwise, but as wise. 1 John 1:6. If we say that we have fellowship with him and walk in darkness, we lie and are not doing the truth. And that's not just believing, but doing. Action. Excuse me. 1 John 1:7. But if we walk in the light as he is the light, we have fellowship with one another, and the blood of Yeshua Mashiach, his son, cleanses us from all sin. We have fellowship with one another. 1 John 2:6, the one who says he stays in him ought himself also walk, even as he walked. So don't we always say Messiah is our example? So we need to be walking like he walked. Excuse me. Revelation 6:15. See, I am coming as a thief. Blessed is he who is staying awake and guarding his garments, lest he walk naked and they see his shame. Don't be caught naked. Yeah, somebody bring Bubba up here for me, please. I'm sorry, Bubba is my big, tall thermos full of water. Sue, you have any questions? Okay, thank you. Okay, so we walk with Yahweh, and now let's talk about love. Webster's definition is a strong affection for another arising out of kinship or personal ties, ahab or ahab or ahava, I've heard it called it too, a primitive root to have affection for. So we'll start out in Exodus 20, verse 6. But showing kindness to thousands, to those who love me and guard my commands. Leviticus 19:18. Do not take vengeance or bear a grudge against the children of your people, and you shall love your neighbor as yourself. I am Yahweh. It's a good thing. Yeah. If you overcome with your affliction, yeah. Mm-hmm. I was saying that it's a bad thing, but it is. No. Deuteronomy 6:5, and you shall love Yahweh your Elohim with all your heart, and with all your being, and with all your might. Deuteronomy 7:9, and you shall know that Yahweh your Elohim, he is Elohim, the trustworthy El, guarding the covenant and kindness for 1,000 generations with those who love him and those who guard his commands. And you'll kind of notice the theme throughout this: love, obey, guard, walk. Those all go together. Deuteronomy 11:1, and you shall love Yahweh your Elohim and guard his charge, even his laws and his right rulings and his commands always. And it shall be that if you diligently obey my commands, which I command you today, to love Yahweh your Elohim and serve him with all your heart and with all your being, that you'll have blessings. Deuteronomy 11:22, for if you diligently guard all these commands which I command you to do it, to love Yahweh your Elohim, to walk in all his ways, and to cling to him, protection. Joshua 22:5, only diligently, I have problems with that word. Only diligently guard to do the command and the Torah which Moshe, the servant of Yahweh, commanded you, to love Yahweh your Elohim, to walk in all his ways, and to guard his commands, and to cling to him, and to serve him with all your heart and with all your being. You've got to give him everything you've got. Psalm 97:10, you who love Yahweh hate evil. He guards the lives of his kind ones. He delivers them out of the hand of the wrong. Proverbs 27:5. Open reproof is better than hidden love. As difficult as it is sometimes, that's the best way to go. Zephaniah 3:17, Yahweh your Elohim is in your midst, is mighty to save. He rejoices over you with joy. He is silent in his love. He rejoices over you with singing. Zechariah 8:17, and do not plot evil in your heart against another, and do not love a false oath. For all of these I hate, declares Yahweh. And in Matthew 22:37, I had that in there, and Yeshua said to him, you shall love Yahweh your Elohim with all your heart and with all your being and with all your mind. Matthew 22:39, and the second is like it, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. John 13:34, a renewed command I give you, that you love one another as I have loved you, that you also love one another. John 13:35, by this you shall know that you are my taught ones, if you have love for one another. John 14:15, if you love me, you shall guard my commands. 14:23, John 14:23, Yeshua answered him, if anyone loves me, he shall guard my word, and my Father shall love him, and we shall come to him and make our stay with him. So aren't we really the call? Yahweh makes his presence in us. Romans 12:9, let love be without hypocrisy. Shrink from what is wicked, cling to what is tov. 1 Corinthians 13:4, love is patient, it's kind. Love does not envy, love does not boast, it's not puffed up. Love never fails. Ephesians 6:24, favor be with all those who love our Master Yeshua Messiah undecayingly. Amen. James 1:2, blessed is the man who does endure trial, for when he has been proved, he shall receive the crown of life which the Master has promised to those who love him. 1 Peter 4:8, and above all, have fervent love for one another, because love covers a great number of sins. 1 John 2:5. Is that what's next? But whoever guards his word, truly the love of Elohim has been perfected in him. By this we know we are in him. 1 John 4:7. Beloved ones, let us love one another because love is of Elohim. And everyone who loves has been born of Elohim and knows Elohim. The one who does not love does not know Elohim, for Elohim is love. By this, the love of Elohim was manifested in us, that Elohim has sent his only brought forth Son into the world, in order that we might live through him. And this is love, not that we loved Elohim, but that he loved us and sent his Son to be atoning offering for our sins. Beloved ones, if Elohim so loved us, we also ought to love one another. No one has seen Elohim at any time. If we love one another, Elohim does stay in us, and his love has been perfected in us. By this we know that we say that we stay in him and he in us, because he has given us his Spirit. And we have seen and bear witness to the Father that the Father has sent the Son, the Savior of the world. Whoever confesses Yeshua, the Son of Elohim, is the Son of Elohim. Elohim stays in him, and he in Elohim. And we have known and believe that love that Elohim has for us. Elohim is love, and he who stays in love stays in Elohim, and Elohim in him. By this love has been perfected with us, in order that we might have boldness in the day of judgment. Because as he is, so are we in this world. There is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear. Because fear holds punishment, and he who fears has not been made perfect in love. We love him because he loved us. I'm so thankful for that too. 1 John 5:3. For this is the love for Elohim, that we guard his commands, and his commands are not heavy. 2 John 1:16. And this is the love, that we walk according to his commands, that this command that you have heard from the beginning, you shall walk in it. In Revelation 3:19, as many as I love, I reprove and discipline. So be ardent and repent. I mean, if he didn't have love for us, why would he even bother to, reprove us, test us? Okay, so we're going to serve Yahweh. And Webster defines this to be a servant to give the service and respect due to comply with the commands or demands. Abad. And to serve, basically, is what it's saying here. We're bondsmen to Yahweh. We're worshipers. We'll start in Exodus 23:25. And you shall serve Yahweh your Elohim, and he shall bless your bread and your water, and I shall remove sickness from your midst. Deuteronomy 6:13. Fear Yahweh your Elohim and serve him, and swear by his name. Deuteronomy 10:20. Fear Yahweh your Elohim, serve him, and cling to him, and swear by his name. Deuteronomy 11:13. And it shall be that if you diligently obey my commands which I command you today, to love Yahweh your Elohim, and to serve him with all your heart and with all your being, then I shall give you the rain for your land in its season, the early rain, the latter rain, and you shall gather in your grain, and your new wine, and your new oil, and I shall give grass in your fields for your livestock, and you shall eat and be satisfied. Excuse me. Deuteronomy 13:4. Walk after Yahweh your Elohim and fear him, and guard his commands and obey his voice and serve him and cling to him. Joshua 22:5 again. Only diligently guard to do the command and the command in the Torah which Moshe the servant of Yahweh commanded you, to love Yahweh your Elohim, to walk in all his ways, and to guard his commands, and to cling to him, and to serve him with all your heart and with all your being. Joshua 24:14. And now fear Yahweh, serve him in perfect and in truth, and put away the mighty ones which your fathers served beyond the river and in Mitzrayim, and serve Yahweh. Psalm 2:11. Serve Yahweh with fear and rejoice with trembling. Psalm 100, verse 2. Serve Yahweh with gladness. Come before his presence with singing. Matthew 4:10. Then Yeshua said to him, Go, Satan, for it has been written, you shall worship Yahweh your Elohim, and him alone shall you serve. So in Indian, it's, we fear Yahweh because we know and understand that he can either bless us or allow curses to come upon us. And we know he can end us at any time if he wants to. So we do our best to walk in his ways because of this fear. But then we learn and grow to love him, and because of this love, we can now walk to please him, and we learn to serve. That's it. That was short, wasn't it? I didn't keep you all very late, did I?